spoken about publicly or on my videos. It's about my other passion aside from the spiritual aspects and martial arts, and that is my art. More precisely, my drawings and my comic strips, comic books, which I've been passionate about and drawing from a very young age. I started drawing very young when I was, my first drawing perhaps was when I was three, between 3 and 4 years old. And I think my first drawing was of one of a dinosaur. And as I grew up, I was drawing. I was still a kid. I was drawing a lot, and cartoon characters and just people, characters in general. I used to love drawing characters. And when I got to 11, I was 11. Yeah, I was 11 when I started drawing comic books. Because when I was really young, I was I, I used to be very passionate about stories, listening to stories, telling stories, and certain stories I used to hear. Just I used to love stories in general. They used to just make me go really like all over the place, traveling in my mind and just uh, as if I was just going around and visiting so many things, experiencing so many things while I'm still at my in my place. And when I came back after the story, there was always something to be learned, something to grasp, something to something that grew within me. And so I was also very passionate about making my own stories. I used to have a very vivid imagination since I was a kid. And well, I used to play with my Legos a lot when I was a kid, and I used to make stories out of those. Just endless stories. And you know, when I started reading Japanese manga and also some European comics, it inspired me to do the same. So when I was 11, I started making my own comic books. My first story was called "The Three Dragons." I don't have that one here, unfortunately. That was the longest one I've ever made. It took me three to 4 years to complete the first part, and it was 180 pages long. I finished it when I was like 14 years old. Yeah, I was 14 years old when I finished it, somewhere around that age. So I don't have that. I lost the, the first part, which was 180 pages. I had already started part two, which was 30 something pages. That was lost. As a kid, I used to just let my friends borrow my drawings because they wanted to read them at home. Like, okay, like I didn't want to say no to my friends, and then somehow they lost it. Someone stole it from them. I don't know. It was very irresponsible of me, but that's what happened. So my second story was this, and this is called The Masked Dragon. And I drew this. I started this in 1997. So it's a little, yeah, it's upside down, reversed. You can't really see it, but yeah. Masked Dragon, this was the first page, like the title page. And then, the intro. writing the intro, and then the comic. So here I was like 13 years old when I started this. I was 13 years old. So Masked Dragon was about this superhero from Shaolin. He was an orphan from Shaolin, and he was supposed to grow up into this handsome young man, and then he discovers this mask, uh, and then the legend behind it, and then he discovers that he was a reincarnation of a of a certain legendary character from the past who was meant to be reborn to fight evil in this other dimension, in this other world, this other realm. So I was a big fan of, as you can see, Asian culture, martial arts, spirituality, Buddhism, Zen. That's when I was getting into Zen Buddhism at the age of 12, 13, you know. And unfortunately, I did not finish it. So it stops here, with school and all kinds of stuff. And I was also I, I always wanted to create other stories. Like I would get bored from drawing the same story for too long. Even if I was still drawing it, I wanted to move to another story while I'm still drawing this one. So yeah, I don't have all my drawings here, but I have some of them. So this one was in 1997, 1998. And then in the year 2000, I I came up with this other story called Spirit Kamikaze, which was about the spirit of those who have died in World War II in Japan. I wanted to glorify and to honor their spirit of being willingly dying while they destroyed the enemy. Even as a kid, that always moved something in me. I always I worshipped that, you know, dying in battle proudly, not from fear, but you know that you're dying and you're going still, to do what you have to do, to save your nation, to save your people, to save your land, your culture, just your people, your loved ones, and your just to fight for a just cause. So Spirit Kamikaze, of course, is so this was in the year 2000. This is how it is. And see, so over here you can see my drawings got better. Here I was 16 years old when I started this. So this, just to show you a little bit of my drawing skills here. It's not really meant for you to read everything and stuff, and it's not really that clear. My phone is not that great. Phone camera. See, so this was Spirit Kamikaze. It's just it's not, well, it's not about the the pilots, of course, who died, but it's about the spirit that moved them to do that. That same spirit is incarnated in certain characters over here, which defy the laws of nature, the laws of gravity, and while being in that state of being, looking death in the face and just welcoming it. That kind of freedom of mind and fear and concern just, you know, gave them certain powers, like like those that you see in The Matrix or Romeo Must Die. And those movies were kind of an inspiration for me too to create this one. And yeah, so the story was about actually this student, which is here, and he's from Korea and he's studying in Japan and he's after his father's murderer. He's very like angry and like very you know. So he's studying there and he's very cold and stuff. And then there's a lot of stuff that happens, and a lot of other characters, and yeah, I don't want to go too much into it, but it's I was always trying to make the story, interesting enough, even though back then the fighting scenes were a huge part of my of my passion for these stories, for drawing these stories. I used to love drawing these scenes where they would just fly and kick and just, and just move in 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 gravity while not being really controlled by gravity. So to do that, I had to make the story look as realistic as possible, even the setting of the story as realistic as possible, making the audience really see that there's nothing magical about the story, there's nothing supernatural. Everything is, if someone gets shot, he dies. If someone, if, like, I mean, like, just trying to make it as realistic as possible, just to get people into that state of mind, into that atmosphere that everything here is actually based on facts, on reality. And then from there, I transport people to, that, that kamikaze spirit, that if you get into that state of mind, you can actually alter the laws of nature. So that's when it becomes a little astonishing, to see someone jumping a little higher than he's supposed to, or flying a little bit, or floating a little bit, and then before getting down, and so so I used to play with that contrast a lot, and yeah, stopped here. I tried to do this in 2015. I didn't finish it. Yeah, I'm actually kind of showing these even for myself because it always made me sad that I've never really finished these stories. You know, being so uh, just being so uh, taken by life and life's life. Hello, the hundred. Just being taken by life's distractions and obligations and all these kind of things, studies and whatever it's happening, problems and everything. I didn't have a really simple childhood. There was a lot of challenges, a lot of emotional challenges, a lot of mental challenges, and financial challenges too. So I was not always really focused on. I was always ready to just sit and just do this. So I had to struggle a lot. So I couldn't really just finish them. So these are a couple of them. This one is just a funny one, just like nothing really serious. I never really planned on releasing this one. It was just it's actually from a very well-known story which already exists. It's not my own story, but this episode was my own story. So it was supposed to be uh, a Final Fantasy, kind of like an episode called Final Fantasy 22, with just characters from my school and from my class, and all these guys here, and just creating a kind of Final Fantasy where me and my friends, can meet and just and the school principal and the teachers and everybody, who knew everyone, just all mixed up in one story, a story of fantasy and dragons and magic and all this kind of stuff. And so it was pretty funny. So, it's very very funny and not really like it can get also kind of explicit at times, but it was like for for a funny reason. Like it was not like meant to be sexual or sexually arousing. It was just very, like, very comical, very funny. Yeah, this oh my god. Anyway, so yeah. Yeah, this right here. Oh, sorry, by the way, this one was in 2001. Final Fantasy 22 was 2001. Uh, this one was just a very simple story that I wanted to make, like nothing special about it. I just felt like doing something in Moroccan Arabic, Darija, with samurais who speak Darija. This was made, I think, in what year was this? It's kind of about the same time as the other one, like 2001, 2002. Just very simple stuff. I just really enjoyed drawing along with the stories. This one here was Myth, Story of the Unborn. This was supposed to be a very, very big franchise story that I wanted to really, really put my heart and soul into. This was in 2004. So as you can see over here, my hey Dave, what's up, bro? Yeah, man, thanks for watching. So yeah, this was Myth. You see, so like, so you can see how my drawings just got better and better as time passed by, right? So here I was 20. Yeah, I think I was 20 or 19 and about to turn 20. So this was like the art style and everything was kind of inspired by the Final Fantasy game series, and also by Soul Calibur, which is also a fighting game, which was always very spectacular for me. Thank you, the Hunter. Thank you very much. So I just thought I'd speak about this because I never really made a video about this, and I just want to kind of revive this. And yeah, so this is Myth. Anyways, I'm not gonna get too much into the story. It's pretty long, but yeah, it was about these two characters who were supposed to meet, and this whole book was supposed to be only the introduction of one of the characters, and then another book was gonna be the introduction of the second character, and then the third book was gonna be like the actual beginning of the story where they actually meet, and then the story really begins. So I was I was quite the perfectionist, and I kind of still am. So sometimes I would overwhelm myself too much. Sometimes my stories were a little too long and a little too detailed for even my own capacity, and I would just drive myself nuts. Just trying to make these with all the full schedule that I had with school and family and friends and all that kind of stuff going on in my life. But I don't know. I just wanted to be able to accomplish this. It's very emotional for me, when I see that I did not really that I did not really do it. So yeah, well, but I still wish and hope that I could and that I would, you know. And so the reason why I stopped drawing, like, because before I used to draw every day, every day, every day I used to draw, man. I used to draw every day, and before I reached high school, I was in junior high, and my mom was like, you're almost going to. She's sorry. She said that I was almost, getting into high school, and she was like, in high school you have to choose what you want to do, what you want to major in. And I was like, I don't want to go to high school. I already hated school. I wanted to just stay at home, finish these, start selling them. That was my dream. And you know, parents. She would insist, and then my dad also insisted that I should go to high school because I cannot make a living without a diploma, without a high school diploma, you know? I didn't care about any of that. I was not scared. I was very confident in my art, you know? Even the teachers and actually the principal in my school, you know, the school that I used to go to before high school, they actually made a very special uh what's the word? You know, they actually, you know, gave me a special I forgot the word. I can't really, you know, think about the word now, but it was like basically they they said that they would never fail me if I were to draw in class because they saw what I was doing and they had so much faith in me that I would, you know, that I had that I had my future was already, you know, traced. Like, you know, like this is what I would do. Like this was my potential. And they wanted to help me to get there by not interfering in whether or not I attend or finish my, you know, like schoolwork or whatever. And they only did that with me, you know. That's how much they had faith in my drawings. Unfortunately, my parents was, for my parents, it was the same. My parents, as many parents, are very much full of fear. They just want their kids to do well, and they want to be assured that their kids have their diplomas and their degrees, and they would just find a job and whatever. But that was never the life that I wanted to have. Even now, after I finished school and high school and university and all that stuff, and I have my degrees, but I never used my degrees to do anything because that's not the kind of job I want to get. I want to like I love teaching, but I also love creating. I don't want to work for any for any a commercial place or whatever that tells me what to do, no matter how much they pay me. I didn't want that. A bigger I had a bigger mission in mind. So long story short, as they say, you know, they kept bugging me for to go to high school, you know, to the point where not only were they not encouraging me about these, they said, like these you could do on your spare time, but focus on your studies, basically. So even my drive to draw went down, right? But it was still there. But I was, But anyways, I went to high school and I chose to major in art, obviously because I used to love drawing and I hate studying. Although I studied a lot at home, I never really liked what they taught us in school. I thought it was just a waste of time. At home, I used to study about Chinese medicine, just herbal medicine in general. I used to love medicine, traditional medicine, to be exact, spirituality, religions, the martial arts, of course, sciences, natural sciences, anything that really seemed useful for my day-to-day life. So, anyways, after going to high school, that's when my spirit really broke, because I used to I used to love to draw. That was my passion. I used to draw because I loved it. I used to draw every day for at least 1 hour every day, no weekends, every day. That was my addiction. After getting into high school, slowly and slowly, I started drawing not because I loved it, but because I had to. Because if I didn't draw what they wanted me to draw, not even what I want to draw, but what they wanted me to draw, if I didn't draw that, I would get a bad grade and I would fail, and I would get intimidated. There's a lot of intimidation, and I was already having a hard time in that high school because that was my first time getting into a real Moroccan school, like public school at least. And I was not used to that. I did not grow up in a Moroccan educational system. So that alone was a struggle, just with the kids making fun of you and bullying you and all that stuff, and you trying to keep your composure, trying to defend yourself the whole time, trying to, whether it is verbally or physically, a lot of that stuff happened. But I knew how to take care of myself because I was tough, because I was practicing martial arts, even though I was always afraid to fight, because I didn't like to fight. I was also very peaceful, but I knew that I could defend myself if ever I had to. But the school just made me not really love drawing that much. So I tried to keep drawing. I tried to force myself to keep drawing so that I don't lose my drive for drawing. And after high school, well, I failed. Like here in Morocco, high school is 3 years. I spent 4 years, and I failed to get my high school diploma two times. And then after that, I spent like another year just studying at home with a tutor to get my GED. So I have a GED actually. I don't even have a Moroccan high school diploma. I have a GED. So anyway, after getting my GED, my big brother helped me apply for uh, the Art Institute of Toronto in Canada. So after a year, I went there. It was a very new environment for me. It was very expensive. It was very cold. Making friends was very hard for me over there. It was nothing like in Morocco, because Morocco, like people, especially at that time, it was, people were very easygoing. It was very easy to make friends. But that was a really new environment for me, and everybody was on their guard, and even my classmates, man, they were like they would come to my place, but like they would be like, oh, like they would always keep restrictions and stuff. So I was feeling very, very lonely. I was feeling very lonely over there, very cold. Not just the weather, but everything. The atmosphere. It was very cold. So I just hung out with the Rastafarians because at that time I also had my dreadlocks like I do now. But like being a Rasta myself, I was, like, you know, I found my family there. So that's with who I used to spend time. They're the ones who took care of me. They're the ones who, showed me love, showed me friendship, showed me care, and I felt like I belonged somewhere. Yeah, but I didn't finish. I came back after 3 months. I didn't finish. I just I was doing really well in school. Like I was like one of the first students, like the best students. But I just couldn't. Like the life there just didn't allow me. I felt like I was losing my mind. Like I just wanted to meet like some Moroccan people. Just to speak in my own dialect or something. And I missed the food. I missed the I missed the herb from Morocco. I missed a lot of things about Morocco, and I was like, I was too lonely there to allow myself to want to adapt. I didn't want to allow myself to adapt because for me, if I allowed myself to adapt to that place, I felt like something was dying in me in order for me to adapt, and I didn't want that to happen. So I just came back. And of course, when I came back, it was a lot of disappointment for my parents, and didn't make things easier for me. So after that, after 2 years after that, I just got back to. I found a school here. I went to it for 2 years, learned some 3D. I didn't. I never really liked 3D. I always preferred 2D. Drawing. like things like this, and 2D animation. I also do animations even from that age, from like the age of 13, 14, or even 12. Yeah, so a lot of broken dreams, man. A lot of broken dreams, and you see, like, as you can see, like, talking about this is actually harder than I thought. Harder than I thought. I mean, it brought me to tears, and I don't know. I just felt like making this video. I just felt like making this video. I'm sorry if I'm not reading your comments, because I removed my glasses because I can't really see with my without my glasses that well. Let me see these comments. Uh, uh, what is this? Some messages such as, oh, come on. All right. uh, so practice every day to restore drawing skills on my own. No, no, Mehdi. Yeah, thank you. That's true. You're relating to this. Wow. Soul Calibur 6 was good. You can still do it. Thanks, man. Bro, this is everything. That's incredible. Thank you. Thank you all for your comments. I don't know. I just felt like making a video about this, just talking about it in public, even though, like probably not a lot of people are gonna see this video, but I don't know. I just felt like something I had to do, talk about this, just let it out, because it was something that was something that I was holding in. I mean, I spoke about this to my friends and to my people close to me, but like never in public. And now these days, I mean, I started trying to get back to drawing, trying not to get distracted by so many things, because now with the internet, and I'm at home most of the time, and there's always something to watch, something to do. It takes an amount of discipline to just sit down and just focus on your drawings and just do them, because it takes a lot of time, man, to make comic books. It's not an easy thing to do. I mean, it takes a lot of time. It only needs passion. You just need to be so passionate that nothing would really uh, distract you. And that's probably like the hardest thing about it. So when I came back from Canada, I remember making starting actually, because uh, after some time it was hard for me to finish actually a whole comic. But I started one about myself, and I drew myself in a very scribbly kind of way on purpose. Like I was not, drawing myself that well, and I was making a story about myself, about all the fears and all the concerns I had, and all the things that was going on in my mind and my life, and trying to talk to myself through my drawing. Actually, it was not really like I drew a character which was representing me, which looked a little bit like me, but not exactly. And then that character was supposed to just wake up. He was like on his bed, just like rolling in his bed and having all these dreams and weird dreams and stuff. And then he would wake up and he'd find himself in the classroom. And then the teacher tells him draw. So he's like, I can't really find it. If I can find it, I'll show you. But he says, I can't draw. I didn't draw in a long time. That was me talking. And the teacher just says, just look around you. And I don't know. I think the kid was like, I can't draw. Like things are a little like all over the place. And he's like. So the teacher is like, I'm I'm sure that when you start drawing, things are gonna start getting better. and even your drawings are going to get better, and your life is going to get better. And then, as I was drawing all of this, I was drawing that character drawing stuff. He drew me. I was drawing him drawing me. And by the time he finished drawing me, like my face, my actual face, the teacher came. He was like, "Oh, that's good. Like, who is that?" And he tells his teacher, "I don't know. I just imagined him." And then he's like, "Okay, well, look around." And when he looks around, actually the drawings, got better because I was drawing and my drawings were getting better. And then the teacher said, "You see, the more you draw, the nicer and the better even your life is gonna get, even around you." So it was, yeah. I don't know, like it's kind of psychedelic, maybe. I don't know. It's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like me talking to myself through the drawing, through the character who's trying to talk to me, who is actually me talking to. Yeah, it was. Yeah, and anyways, I just had to share this. Oh, these are a few of my other drawings. By the way, I actually have I started posting some of my drawings on Instagram. You can check out my Instagram. It's Akasha Temple, Akasha, and then a a lower dash, and then Temple. It's a black background with the kind of white triangle, kind of Akasha Temple, AKASHA. So yeah, these are some drawings that I did. This was in, yeah, like 2012. I was trying to get back to my drawings again. And this was a story about Aesop. I don't know if you guys heard about Aesop. He was supposed to be this African slave who was bought by a Greek, an ancient Greek, I don't know, ruler or something, like. And I was working for this magazine called Our African Heritage a little bit. I got to know the owner of that magazine, and I actually made a comic for him, 7 pages long. So that wasn't really long, so I was able to finish it, and I was really happy about that because when you finish something, it really feels like you accomplished something. So 7 pages was cool, so I did it, and I have that on my Instagram too, so you guys can check it out. Aesop, yeah, this was him. I was trying to find like people what he would look like. So I just drew him like as this very wise looking African, and he was not really tall or anything. He was kind of small, and this is him when he was being sold with the other slaves. Aesop was here, over here, and some of the other slaves over here, some like Roman slave or Greek slave, I don't know, and some other kind of Middle Eastern slave or East African slave, something like that. Yeah, Santos. Yeah, I think this was the guy who had to, who was gonna buy Aesop. I have, I also have a lot of other stories, but that I didn't mention here. Yeah, this is him again. Yeah, I appreciate your day. Yeah, and this was supposed to be the Catholic monk who I wanted to draw a Catholic monk actually like narrating the story before I drew the story and got into the story. Like, this was him just sitting down and writing it, and like with a candle. Yeah, I didn't draw the candle yet, but there was supposed to be a candle there, and he was gonna be drawing, sorry, writing the story as I told the story, and then got into the drawing part. Yeah, this is another story of mine that I'm actually thinking about starting. Like, I actually started it, but I didn't draw anything uh, on it in a few days, maybe a week. So yeah, this these are some some of the characters of that story. I don't want to talk too much about that story. I don't want my ideas to be stolen because I really like these ideas. So that's why I'm sorry, I'm not really sharing much about the stories, but it's a story that that happens in the forest and in nature and stuff like that, and it you know and it also involves life and death and afterlife and things like that, and like all the mysteries of life. It has no martial arts, no action. It's not like the stories that I used to make when I was younger, which were packed with action and fighting and magic and stuff like that. This like now they become more like of a seeking of like what is all this, what is this life, and it's more spiritual than action. It's not that I'm against action. I would love to make a story which has martial arts and fighting and stuff like that. But yeah, and I was also, I don't know if you guys know the Move organization. I'm gonna make a video talking about that. I think I already did. Yeah, I already did, of course. This is John Africa, the Move founder. Yeah, this is actually a picture. I didn't really finish it. He's supposed to be sitting in a car and talking to other Move members. I was I was also thinking of making a story, the story about Move and what happened to them with the government in comic book form, but that was too much, also like too overwhelming for me to even want to start. So I started a few. Take it with me. I started this story about one of the Move Nine, the nine Move members who were unjustly sent, you know, taken to jail in 1978. And this was the story about Merle, Africa, the first Move member who died in jail. The first of the Move Nine. And her autobiography and all of their autobiographies are on the Move official webpage, the onamove.com, onamove.com. This is her, and so I just took the text from her, these are her own words, and I used her own words to narrate her story. And of course, it's not all her own words. I mean, I use all of her words, but then when like scenes like this come up, when she's like actually like like talking to people and stuff, like I just like this is where my imagination came into play. But when she was narrating the story, like when I'm narrating the story, it's actually her own words, her words that she wrote herself. She died in 1998. I never got to speak to her, but I spoke to the others, the 8 others, and luckily they've, you know, thankfully, I should say, they've been all released. 7 of them have been released just recently in the past two years. So we're all happy about that. We've supported them until they've got the release. Uh, so Merle Africa died in jail, and another brother died in jail too. Phil Africa died in jail too, and I spoke to him too, especially when I was in Canada. So, anyways, I don't want to make this video too long. I don't want to discourage people from watching it. But yeah, thanks. Thank you for everyone who actually wanted to sit and and just watch this video and see what I have to say. So yeah, this is my passion that I don't really practice anymore, and I really want to get back into it. I really do. I really, really do. I really, really do, and it really like helps me focus and helps me like it centers me. It really does. Like I miss that feeling. I really do. I don't indulge in a lot of creative activity lately, and of course I play music too, and that's creative too. But I miss creating characters and drawing and making stories out of all this. And in my view, in my perception, I think my stories are very impactful. Like from what I saw, sharing them with my friends and people who know me, and even people who don't know me that much. whenever I would show them my stories, like they always loved it. They always felt like something was being transmitted, and that's what really drove me to do them. And I hope that that's what could drive me to do them again. I just have to ease up, ease, take it easy on my uh, perfectionist kind of attitude, because when I'm too much of a perfectionist, I just overwhelm myself, and then I end up not doing it because I just give up. It's just like too much. So I think the best way for me is just to get, started on very short stories. Very short stories, just like the main idea. Just put it in a few pages, maybe 10 pages, maybe a little bit more, sometimes maybe a little bit less. Yeah, and just and like once I finish one, I could start doing another one. Yeah, I'm just thinking out loud here. I'm just thinking out loud here. Yeah, right. So that's my oh, and the title of this video is Omar Schekhli cartoons, because this was actually what I used to call my cartoons, my drawings. Omar Schekhli cartoons, OSC. And all my friends were like, man, like when you grow up, like you're gonna be famous for doing these things and stuff. So that part, which didn't happen, at least not yet, kind of makes me sad. Like when I think about it, really makes me sad. So I don't know, man. I just felt like sharing these things with you guys, and it would be amazing if you know, like I just miss seeing people love what I do, and just admire what I do and what I tell about my stories and my drawings, and I don't know, somewhere I'm probably hoping that that would help me get back to it a lot easier. Yeah, yeah, you know. So, all right, let me not start crying again. Thank you very much for watching my video. I love you all. Thank you so much, and please leave your comments down. And I don't know if you guys have any ideas or any suggestions. Please don't hesitate. Whatever you guys want, just I don't know, like if something concerning this or concerning a video that you would want me to make, talking about something else, please don't hesitate. All right. Thank you all very much. Bless you.